Hey everybody, it is Dan here from Deuce the Limit once again, and it is time for UMK, who has seemingly raised the bar year after year, especially since 2021, just banger after banger and more competitive than ever. So I am joined by someone else today. This is my friend Josh, who's going to help me break it down. And we're going to dive in and try to pick a winner, or at least pick our winners and who we think might take it. So without further ado, let's jump on into it. All right, well then without further ado, let's dive into song number one. It's Kiera with No Business on the Dance Floor. So coming out with the banger, Kiera, only 17 years old. This is her first single. This is the very modern English girly bop that we're going to get out of this group of seven. And I think it definitely set the tone for the rest of the songs, as a lot of them are pretty high octane, pretty dancey. This one, pretty modern. I think there's some lyrics in there that caught people off guard. Swing It Like Harry Potter certainly was one we were not expecting, that came out of nowhere. So what are your thoughts on the...
I think it's a bop. It's an absolute bop. This will be, when I've got stuff to do in the morning, this will be the shower song that gets the day going. I do think it's a very generic modern pop song. I still love it, but it's pretty. It's. I hear it a lot. I feel like, yeah.
So what do you think the staging is? Do you think she's going to dance with the staging, or do you think it's going to just be more of her performing and maybe dances around her? What vibe did you get from the video? Because it seemed like she wanted to dance, but through much of the video she wasn't.
Yeah, it really seemed like that's what she wanted. I really hope that the staging involves her dancing, because I don't think that the way that the music video is done with her just sitting in the chair, I don't think that's going to sell the song the way that it needs to in order to win. So they definitely, I think it's a lot of it, like final placement, is going to come down to the staging on that
to
one.
The movement.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with that. I think that's fair. I think this one's probably not favored to win. But unlike last year I felt like there was only one song that I felt couldn't win, and that was Tommy Lantunen, who was a legacy act. He is very popular in Finland, but I think when people watched the performance and heard the song, it was you knew it probably wasn't going to win, right? Yeah. This year, I think every single song, there's at least 2 or 3 redeeming qualities that you can say this song can win because this.
Yeah. And this one, it's because it's relatable. Like, yeah. It's fun to listen to.
Let's move right along then to the second release, which was, I think, the very next day, and that was Benjamin with Hoida. So going into it, I think a lot of users, this was the name that came up the most. I think in the list, a lot of the Euro fans had known of Benjamin and his music, and I think he definitely delivered. The video is super cool, where he's in, I guess, this like greenhouse with all these flowers. The 80s vibe, certainly, of this channel, the pink and the blue. I definitely get down with the whole vibe and aesthetic, and I hope he carries that into the video. Though we have seen with Finland, a lot of time the video just has nothing to do with the end staging.
Yeah, I think staging is going to be important on this one as well. He's clearly got the moves, so I'm not worried about his movements. The song itself was an instant, absolutely loved it. I will be honest, this was the first one that I heard. I was a little late to the game, so I didn't catch Kiera on release day. So Benjamin was the first one that I actually listened to all the way through. I think it's got a great mix of like the very high energy, and then it brings it down at the right spots. Plus, I mean, that hair. You gotta love that hair.
Do you though?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I don't love it. I hate it.
I mean, I wouldn't wear it, but
oh, okay, but it's fine on other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if he changes it. I mean, again, like the video to performance, sometimes they do change their appearance as well, and their hairstyle is something completely different. So yeah. For him, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in a completely different direction, and what was the song last year? KUUMMA. I think he really carried the video straight into his performance. But then others, you know, like Oliveira, I felt like went a little bit of a different direction.
Yeah. I think as long as he dances, I think it'll be fine.
Agreed. So then we got song number 3. We are going back to English. The third song released was English, and that was Robin Packalen with Girls Like You. This was an instant hit for me. Immediately, this is the vibe that I love. It's cool, it's smooth, he's sexy, the video's cool, the lighting, everything about it drew me in. I was singing it by the final chorus. I adore it. I this is no hiding it. This is one of my favorites, and I know Euro fandom is going to hate me for saying that, but it definitely is.
I mean, I gotta say, it is a great song. It's catchy as heck, and I will not skip it when it comes on.
Oh, thank you.
But I don't know. I didn't feel it in my gut the way that I felt some of the other ones.
So he's, of course, one of the more popular acts. A lot of the comments out there is that he was going to, you know, win in a landslide because of his name or anything. He's not even the favorite in the odds. We'll get to that shortly. I still think this has a very good chance to win just because there are really four high octane entries. There's 2 that are kind of in the mid with Kiera and with Robin, and then there's one, you know, ballad or slow song that we're going to get to next. Now we've seen the last few years that it's been 2 bands battling in UMK. So bands have tended to do the best. We haven't seen solo artists even making top 2. So I don't know if that's going to continue this year.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if there is a solo act, just based on the popularity that he seems to have, I would say he might have the highest chance of making it into a top 2. But we all know history doesn't necessarily translate.
Then we will move on to song release number 4. This was LXandra with Something to Lose. This one, on first listen, it immediately went to the top of my list. It eventually came down a little bit, but it's just, on first listen, it draws you in. It's atmospheric. It's gorgeous. It's a little bit minimal. There's not a lot of words in the song, really, or a lot of lyrics. It's very kind of stretched out, and a lot of the words are accentuated and lengthened. But she's gorgeous. And kind of going back to what I said, she's the only ballad. And she's one of only 2 female soloists, or really females in the entire group. So I think that bodes well for her. I don't know if it's a strong enough song to win, though.
I mean, you know me, Dan. I am a sucker for a ballad, especially a sad ballad. I mean, I'm still crushed about John's tears and his not winning in 2021. But I think this song is great. I do think that if it were to go through, it might need a little bit of a rework to make some of the stuff punch a little bit more. There's plenty of emotion in the song, but I think that it really needs to punch at least somewhere. You can tell it, like, more towards the end, the music wants to, but the vocals just don't quite get there. So I think that would, if I had a criticism for this song, it would be that. And
yeah, it definitely does not flatline, but it's a very gentle curve up, and it never takes the highs and the lows that you kind of want in a ballad. You want those big moments where it all comes rushing together in a chorus or something like that. And it doesn't do that. That makes it a little different. And actually, all these songs, I feel like none of them very often go too low or too high. They're all kind of a steady octane all the way through, which, I mean, keeps you interested, but it also doesn't leave room for, big moments.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think Hoida could absolutely have that huge moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think LXandra could have that huge moment as well. But that's why there's so much time in between, and they've got a little time to rework if necessary, I suppose.
Well, let's move right along then to song number 5. I'm going to try and pronounce this right. Käärijä, and it's Cha Cha Cha. Well, if we needed one entry to catch us completely off guard and revolutionize the Eurovision fandom, it was definitely this one. And it has even charted at number 2, I believe, on Finland's Spotify charts. So this one came in like a freight train, covering what, about 10 different genres you could call this song.
Easily. It is all over the map.
Yeah, and then we have to talk about the video, and he's in a boxing ring against himself in the wildest outfit I think we've seen.
I don't even know what you would call that.
I mean, I guess you could call it a wrestler's outfit. I guess wrestlers could wear that.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be that surprised. What were your first impressions on this freight train of a song?
At first I couldn't get over the video. The video is just wild. And I feel like the vocals and the tone of the song really caught me off guard at first. It's a lot harsher than you would think after like the little instrumental intro and like the visual of it all. I mean, it's definitely an earworm. Like, it's going to be stuck in my head for days. And I will say it's like a secret guilty pleasure, because I don't want to admit that I like it as much as I do. But yeah, I initial reaction was not super great, but it has grown on me.
I get the Trinital effect from this one. I could see this if it goes to Eurovision. I think the juries torpedo it, but then I think it top 3s in the televote. I mean, if it gets a good running position, especially in the final, if it's like the final song of the night and this comes out and the entire crowd is screaming cha cha cha, yeah, that moment, it's not a Eurovision winner. I don't think it can win Eurovision, but it could have one of those huge televote results that really impacts the night. And
yeah, I could see it being a Yamame Yamame, like just having the crowd going nuts.
Yes. It's not my cup of tea, but I will respect it, and I will scream cha 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 if I hear it at Eurovision. I will scream it along with everyone else and dance to it. But I would prefer Finland select other options. We'll leave it that way. All right, then that takes us down to the 7th and final song. It is, we've got 2 songs left. Song number 6 is KUUMMA with Ylivoimainen. Oh, is all I could keep singing after this song was over. This song is immediately catchy. The video is, I guess, a boy band concert or some sort of concert going on. Everything about this is super cool. I love that UMK actually shows the English lyrics for a lot of the songs that are in Finnish, so audiences like us, by default, it just shows us the English lyrics along with the Finnish on screen. Makes it really easy for us to follow along with the song and connect with it. One lyric from the chorus in particular that translates, "There's nothing left for me but you. My shoes are in tatters and my heart's on fire. You're the only symbol on my map because you're above all else." I love it. I think the whole song is brilliant. What were your thoughts on first listen?
I think it's really, really good. I think, honestly, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to say about this one, Comfortable came to mind. Like, it just feels really good to listen to. It's catchy, it's fun, it's, like you said, the lyrics are great. I just really like it. It's great.
And it does, just briefly before the final chorus, it does dip down. It has that tiny little dip that it can really ramp up into the end. So
yeah,
we talked around a lot of moments in these songs, but there's one right there that I think they can also use. Not sure how they're going to stage it. Of course, the video doesn't really give you much to stage, right? It's just kind of just them jumping around in what seems like a concert setting, in black and white. They're not going to do black and white for this song. Right. I actually would go the opposite way. I would blast color, and make it very vibrant and very fun.
Yeah, and it's so like we kind of saw with the American Song Contest, where they were able to have a whole bunch of backup dancers and things. I think that this is a song that could benefit from something like that. Obviously, the rules won't allow that, so they would have to get really creative with it.
Yeah.
But I think that it's definitely doable and possible.
I mean, yes, artists have done the like where the screen in the back has like mimicking images of people, and they could use that, and maybe even augmented reality. We haven't talked about whether or not UMK will use that in the future or other national finals. So it's very possible. I love it. It's one of my faves.
Pretty great.
All right. Well, now we only have one song left to cover, and it is Portion Boys with Samaa, taivasta, katsotaan. If we want another song like Cha 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 that could go final in the Eurovision Song Contest and get everyone on their feet, I feel like this one would do it. In a different way. It's a little more kind of an old-fashioned, definitely something familiar. It's fun. It's high octane and high energy. And look, we've seen bands do well the last few years. I'm not ruling them out.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the Eurovision Song Contest camp that we all love and have grown accustomed to. I also think that this should be the new Finnish national anthem. Another song where having the translation of the lyrics just made the whole thing 10 times better. That I know, like, they're listing off all of these great things about the other European countries, but Finland's still the best. I absolutely love this song.
And that went so well for Scooch in 2006. Oh wait, no, it didn't.
I know, but it was just like instantaneous. Fell in love with this song.
Yeah, it's very cool. And if he can hit that note at the end where he screams, that note alone can get you a lot of points if the fireworks all go off at the same time and it has that kind of 80s rock metal vibe.
Yeah.
Could be a big moment.
It's already staged. Like, they don't need anything else.
You really don't. You can just reenact the music video, and that's exactly, I think, what we're going to expect from it when we get it.
I hope so.
On stage. All right. Well, we've gone through them, so now we're going to rank them. So we're going to start with our number 7s, and I'll be putting them on the screen and listing them off as we go. So let's start with your number 7.
My number 7, probably coming as a shock to no one, is Käärijä's Cha Cha Cha. As I said at the beginning, they're all good songs. There's no bad songs this year, but this is easily my number 7.
Twitter's looking for your account right now to block you.
That's okay.
I'm just letting you know that. Mine is Portion Boys. Look, we said a lot of nice things about it, and there are a lot of nice things to say about all these entries. Someone has to be 7th. They're 7th for me. It's not enough. We've seen it before, and I think I would prefer something else. All right. So let's hear your number 6.
My number 6, I feel like we're going to be in a fight after this one, Dan. But my number 6 is Robin.
Okay. You're entitled to your opinion.
Like I said, it just doesn't move me the way that some of the other songs did, and somebody's got to be 6.
Yeah. For me, Twitter's now going to come for me. I have Cha 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 at number 6. Look, I respect the hell out of it. I love that the fandom is getting behind it, and I do think it would be a good Eurovision entry. But this is not who we think will win. This is who our favorites are. So I put it at number 6 because I simply love all the songs more than this one that are above it.
Fair enough.
All right. So now you're number 5.
Number 5 is Kiera. I love this song. I just love the other ones more. And I also think that she has some growing to do. The song is definitely early career, I feel.
Okay. That's a good way to describe a song. My number 5 is LXandra, Something to Lose. I kind of going back to it just didn't grow. It didn't take that next step to really, it's just like, here's the song, and then it ended. And I'm like, that was very nice and pleasant. I wanted more. Didn't get it. So.
That's fair.
All right. Your number 4?
Number 4 is KUUMMA. It's just so fun. Like, okay. I don't know what else to say about it. It's great. But I think for me, in terms of this, it's smack dab middle of the pack.
All right. Mine is I have Benjamin with Hoida. I like it. Um, I actually don't know how well it would do at Eurovision. I know a lot of people would disagree with that. I think
I
it's a
don't.
little.
I don't disagree.
There's just something I can't. I think the staging might go too far if they get to Eurovision with it, and I think they might kind of reverse doom the entry because he may want something a little bit more over the top, and we've seen sometimes that can really backfire on you. Um, all right, so now we're down to our top three.
All right, top three is a
Bronze
little
medal.
unconventional, but I've got Portion Boys for number three.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm so enamored with the music video that I've got blinders on to the song the song itself not being great. But I love it for some reason. It's so I feel like besides the ballad with LXandra, it's the most different from anything else on the field, which I think is a big plus for me.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think there are a lot of bands with high octane entries in this group.
Well, I just feel like it's kind of like the older the hard rock aspect of
yes,
it.
Yeah, this one does feel like a more old school rock where everything else is really techno dance pop.
Yeah.
And this is the one that isn't. So I do agree with that. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. My number three is Kiera, No Business on the Dance Floor. I'm swinging it like Harry Potter every day of my life. Love it. Can't stop screaming the lyrics. We'll see how she does live. Of course, she's gonna be nervous. It's got to be her biggest performance she's ever done for sure.
Yeah, so, and we saw nerves get the best of like even Montaigne, who is a fairly seasoned performer.
Yeah.
So that can really be a killer, especially when you're newer. But who knows? As long as she remembers the lyrics, should be fine.
Oh no. All right, silver medal. Who you got?
Silver medal is my ballad, LXandra. I love it. Despite the fact that it doesn't punch as much as I want to, I listen to it on repeat. It's great. I do hope it gets a rework if it wins, just slightly for that big build at the end before it cuts abruptly down to quiet. But yeah, that's my number two.
My number two is actually Robin Packalen. It's Girls Like You. Number one and number two are like neck and neck, and even number three. I feel like everyone knows what my number one is, but those top three, and then it's the bottom four, and there's a little bit of a gap in there. But they're all at the top three, really, really close. I just can't. It's just so smooth. It's just the easiest, most polished listening song. And I know he's popular too. I still think this can win, and I just hope. And Twitter, if you're watching, do not bully this man off of social media. If he wins, he does not deserve it. No one deserves it. You should be more positive and stop being negative. And if you're feeding into negativity on Twitter, stop it. So I'm preemptively saying that if he does win.
I 100% agree. Don't bully people. It's bad.
Time for our gold medals. We know who they are, but go ahead and say it.
Yeah, I got Benjamin. I will say I 100% agree with you that I don't think it would do well at Eurovision.
Well, I mean,
but
that's just our opinions. A lot of people
yeah, absolutely, 100% just opinion. But I don't know. I just up and move like the entire time the song goes. I think the lyrics are pretty interesting. I'm still trying to like parse through them a little bit. I mean, like obviously the main message is pretty obvious, but yeah, that's my number one.
And I of course have KUUMMA, Ylivoimainen. Love this entry. It's probably my favorite entry thus far in the Eurovision season. I would actually say this is my number one song so far of any, maybe Jose Otero for Spain, actually. Those two are probably my top two right now.
Even better than everything from Ireland right now?
Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, actually, I love Ireland's entries, but until I hear Midnight Summer Night's final version, which we know it's not going to be the demo version. That synth that goes with the chorus, with the lyrics, it just draws me in. I'm constantly bobbing. I'm just zoned in when I'm listening to this. And I just find myself always going back on Spotify and just tapping back and tapping back. Please play it again. Please play it again. Please play it. And then it's like, how many times have I listened to this in a row? Okay, too many. No, I know it's not one of the favorites, and we can talk now about the odds. Of course, odds makers have Cha 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 as a huge favorite, but that doesn't mean anything. We've seen huge favorites lose before. It could just mean they're looking at the plays. Of course, it has the most plays on YouTube. But if someone dumps 50,000 euros, or I'm sorry, I don't know what currency Finland uses. I assume euros. If not, it's, you know, equivalent currency of 50,000 euros on any of these songs, I would expect it to jump 20, 30%, right? Because I still feel like this field is wide open. There's no Tommy Lansinen, there's no legacy acts, there's no artist, you know, older artist that they kind of put in there, usually just for, I guess maybe Portion Boys is that, but it feels like every one of them has a reasonable chance to win, and you can make a lot of cases for that, where when the rehearsals start coming out, we're going to see those odds shift. I don't think it's going to stay that
because it's just
pronounced.
It's way too skewed for the caliber of songs that have been released. I could understand, like you said, if there was a clear front runner, but there isn't. Like, I have my favorites, but I won't be surprised if any of them win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's not necessarily true, but
what does that mean?
Well, I would be surprised if a couple of them won. But I wouldn't be upset if any of them won.
What would surprise? Which one would surprise you the most if it won?
I think Kiera would surprise me if she won, just because of her novice, or like she's fairly new to the scene.
Yeah.
Not for lack of like very clever lyrics or anything like that, but if you don't have the brand recognition, but I suppose we still have what, a month and a half before, or a little over a month before the final. So that's plenty of time to get the song out there.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a banger of a final. I don't think anyone's not going to be watching this one. There's a lot of finals that day, I think, but I think most people are going to be tuning into this one over some of the other shows, and I know I will be.
Absolutely.
Well, Josh, thanks for joining me today. I'm glad we were able to go through these, and thanks everyone else for coming along with us, and we will see you next time.